You can have that one interaction with that one person that really propel you into like an amazing situation. I just told myself, I'm too old to play Coachella. Like, they're not going to want me to play Coachella, you know?
Where did the name disco come from, bro?
So disco came from, well, it actually used to be Kid Disco. Came from Kid Disco because back in the days, like, the DJs would be like, Kid Millionaire, Kid this, Kid that. And I wanted to be like cool, like an old school DJ. Disco came from discoteca. So just Kid Disco. And then the rappers that I started fucking with in like 2012 would call me Disco for short. So it kind of stuck with me because I was like, they didn't want to call me Kid Disco. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to X out the I. And that's where like DXSKO came from. Like, it's kind of like a rebrand of like Lil Bow Wow dropped the Lil. It's just Bow Wow. That's disco. Hey, so I'm not Lil Bow Wow no more.
That makes sense. Thank you for coming on the podcast, bro.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I'm good at talking, so I just want to talk, man. Share what's going on and all that good stuff.
Of course, the biggest thing was you played at Coachella.
It's still surreal for me. Everybody that I talk to about it, like, oh, you played at Coachella. Sometimes, bro, like random people that I either follow me on social media or don't, or friends with somebody, like, oh, you played at Coachella. And I'm like, every time I have this conversation, I'm like, it still hasn't hit me. Like it, well, one, I was just supposed to play like the campground stuff, but then like, obviously being able to be like inside to play was like what the, that's been my dream. I mean, that's something that like I've always tried to work at. And honestly, I had this conversation with a buddy of mine called Seabass like 6 months ago. And I told him, I was like, if I don't ever play Coachella, that's okay. If I could just be like the not the catalyst, but the person to like help people to like, I just told myself, I'm too old to play Coachella. I was like, nobody, like, they're not going to want me to play Coachella, you know? But so I kind of was like, okay, I'm getting into this like OG mode of like, I'm an older DJ, but I fuck with the younger guys. So I was kind of like, okay with just being like the dude who maybe help somebody to propel them to like get noticed by somebody else, you know?
But why do you say that you were too old? You're still young as hell. What do you
I know, bro, but like, I think because in my head, I've told myself like, I think it's because of the standards of like society.
Yeah.
And because recently, before COVID, I was still working every single day of the week. You know, now I still do. I still work with Marcel at his restaurant, but it's not like a full every single day. Like I only basically when I work is like the weekends. You know, so for me, I still had this like thing in my head of like the norms of society of like you have to make it by 30, 35. You have to have your own house and you have to have a family and all that stuff. So I still kind of had that kind of like that in my head, but also like imposter syndrome. Like no, I don't deserve to play something like Coachella, you know, but I've had to realize like sometimes I'm working so much that I don't realize like what I've done, like just kind of take a step back and be like, damn, I've done a lot of shit. Like I've gone on tours and I've done this and had pretty cool shows that a lot of people can't say they've done. But I've had to have friends like remind me like, yo, dog, you're doing a lot of shit. And it's like, it's all that. But being that I played, I think still, like I said, it still hasn't hit me, bro. Like, but I'm fucking blessed because I hope I take that momentum to like keep going to get welcome back next year, you know, like play again.
So you said you were first only going to be playing in the campground. So for those people that don't know, what does that mean, or what do you mean the campgrounds, and how did you get that opportunity to play in the campgrounds to begin with? Okay. And then from there we'll take it to the second part, which is how you got it.
So so the campground stuff is when you stay at Coachella, you know, you're staying at the campgrounds, they have this after hours. Well, after hours that kind of starts like at 9, where a bunch of DJs play until like 4 in the morning. I was invited. So I I am really cool with a couple of the DJs that help run it. Juice One, one of the residents, his name is Jimbo Jenkins. He actually designs the wristbands and the maps and all that. Um, I'm really cool with them since my IE days in the music scene out there. So I kind of knew all of them and DJs that I've played at the campgrounds. Like I'm friends with them, but I never wanted to ask like, oh hey, can you throw me on? I was just kind of like, if I ever get invited, I get invited. Um, the Tamale Festival this year. I did the Tamale Festival this year. I was busy the whole weekend, so I could only do the Thursday. And one of the people that books for it, I ended up finding out. Well, when I went to go get paid out for that day, I had just had a really good connection with her. One of the buddies that helps like run Coachella and all that. He was like, "Oh, this person helps like book for Coachella and stuff like that. Like, just be like nice to her, like she's a good person, and this and that." So I just took that and was like, "Oh, like that's dope. Like I'm gonna be, like interact.
Yeah.
Like I don't want her to think I'm an
Getting
asshole, So we were in there, she paid me out, and I was, so nice to meet you, and I made it like super. We just had a really good conversation, and weeks before Coachella, she was like, "Hey, so and so is reaching out to you. They want you to play for some gig." She didn't tell me, like, she didn't mention Coachella or nothing. So this guy Juice One, who I knew from the MoFire days in the IE, um, he was like, "Oh hey, so and so, like, fill out this like submission form. We would really want you to play at the campgrounds." And I was like, so I looked the thing up and I was like Coachella, and I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Fill out the submission. Like, do you want to play? Would you be cool to play it? And I was like, dude. So it gave you the option, like, do you want to play weekend 1 or weekend 2? I put both, and I was like, do you want to this and that? So yeah, dude. So the people that have asked me, I've told them like it was that conversation that I had with her at that Tamala Festival, just being cool, just being like chill. I ended up finding out she was the one who recommended me. Like, I guess they were looking for DJs for the campground, and she was the one who was like, who threw me that layup. And bro, I had a conversation with her once. Yeah, and Juice told me that. She was like, I was like, bro, thank you so much. It's not. He's like, no, thank Vicky. Thank Vicky, because she was the one who mentioned your name. And I was like, that's crazy. And that's what, like, I feel like either upcoming artists or DJs, like, need to understand, like, you can have that one interaction with that one person that really just like propel you into like an amazing situation. So yeah, bro, that's what kind of like got me into that. And then going into the campground stuff, I was supposed to play just 2 days, all that good stuff. I was ready, prepared for it. I had gotten all my stuff ready, and then the day before Coachella, the lineup dropped. I was at the movies with my girlfriend. We were watching Scream, the new Scream, and my phone starts blowing up. And then I remember clearly, Bass Move sent me a message of like, bro, what the fuck? You're on the lineup. And it was a screenshot. And low key, I thought she was fucking with me.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was like somebody like, you meme generator. And I was like, no way. So then I go look up the thing and I zoom in, bro. And I was like, I literally started shaking. Like, I told my girl, like, what the fuck? And you know what? I always say this shit, like, manifesting shit is so fucking real, because when I was playing I knew I was going to do the campground stuff. I told myself, like, because I had gotten interviewed by like what is it? K-Cal, not, or one of the
NBC, one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, the LA thing. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm getting such a good momentum right now that I'm going to get their attention. I'm like, what if they fucking ask me? I told her, I'm like, what if they fucking ask me? I mean, if they don't, it's okay. But what if they fucking ask me? And I told her, I was like, look, it fucking is happening. So yeah, dude, that was like, okay, shit, I'm going to play. And that's when I was like, all right, my dream that I've been working at for the last, well, I think for me it was like when I became my own entity. When I stopped working with the rappers full time, I wanted to build my own self. So my goal was like, what's a goal for you? Is playing Coachella. Like that would be like the ultimate thing, you know? And so yeah, man, it was like a goal that I've been working on for like 5-6 years, bro, to get there and fucking I got to play.
And damn, that's well, congrats.
That's
bro.
crazy.
I remember seeing that too because I saw that you were playing like the silent disco and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, that's sick. Like disco's playing. And then when the lineup dropped, and you're like, what the fuck, disco? And then you're like, I can't believe it. And it took you a while because I remember you weren't even posting, you weren't even on social media because this was not even here right now.
Yeah.
How did it feel as far as like telling like your parents, your family, like how to, like those interactions, like I play Coachella, like
I think the biggest thing, the emotions for me was like where I got kind of emotional is when I told my grandpa, because I think my grandma always knew I wanted to play that, and obviously she's not here no more. Telling him and him being like, wait, adentro del festival? And to see his eyes like water up, bro, I was like, you know, I could see that moment of like, because he's old school. So, we're Latinos, so we come from a family where a lot of our families, like, if you're not doing like a 9 to 5, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, you're doing the music thing. That's cool, you know. But I think he's had to realize, especially now moving in, like living with him, he's realized like, oh, you're pretty serious about this shit, you know? And because his brothers were musicians and they kind of, in their own way, kind of blew up when they were in Mexicali, but they were alcoholics and they ended up spiraling and not doing music anymore. So I think what he would see as musicians was like, I don't know if that could really be like a lifelong thing. So to see him kind of like be like, yeah, he looked like proud of me, and I think that was one of the first moments that, obviously the new stuff, he was just like, holy shit, you're on the news, like showing him the clips, and he was just like proud. But that was kind of like the moment of like, okay, you're serious, you know, like you're at the biggest festival. If anybody knows, like you don't need to know, like, you know, the most traditional Mexican person knows, or Latino person knows what Coachella is, you know, a 5-year-old knows what, you know, like anybody knows what Coachella is. So for him to be like, oh fuck, like you're doing it, I think was a moment for me. I told my mom, my sisters were proud, you know, but I think they've been my biggest fans, you know, like they've been like, you're doing this, like keep doing it. You know, my mom's been since I decided to go on tour, you know, with fucking only like $200-$300 in my pocket. Like,
who do you go on tour with, and who were those rappers? Because you kind of like said, oh, I used to work with rappers.
Yeah, so I used to work with Noah James, Curtis King. I used to work with this label called bro, my dogs, bro. These guys are my brothers, and they're the ones kind of helped me become like the bedroom DJ to like an actual like your own personality, they're the ones who kind of like helped me blossom into the disco, the character or whatever, you know, so yeah, I went on tour with them. We went on a 2.5-month tour, the first tour with Murs. I don't know, the rapper Murs. He used to run this festival called Road to Pay Dues. And the last Pay Dues was in 2013. And we did the Road to Pay Dues. So we went on tour with Fashawn, this guy named Prof, and then we were the openers. So, I mean, that was kind of my introduction into the hip hop game. And after that, like, dude, we had shows with like DMX. We had two or three shows with DMX. We had multiple shows with like Currency, a show with 2 Chainz, shows with like a bunch of like West Coast legends like Corrupt, and sometimes, bro, I forget because it's been so like boom boom, you know. But yeah, like Corrupt and like just so many artists that I grew up listening to that it's just like money. That's priceless, you know. Money can't like buy these experiences, and it was cool that I did that. I don't really talk about that too much because I felt like those were my accomplishments, but also it's because I was working with these rappers that helped me be a part of these shows, So for a long time, I was like, okay, this is dope. But then I was like, okay, when am I gonna build like disco, like the DJ, like not the behind the scenes like DJing for my best friends, but when am I gonna? I want to be on the bill too, like
Yeah.
so. It was dope to do all this stuff, but then I just wanted to like blossom into my own thing, and that's kind of like where I did the whole like drop the kid, do the disco, and that's when I moved out here because I was like, I love my best friends, but I think it's time for me to like become what I want, what I envision myself. Like if I'm DJing for these rappers and all this stuff, like that's never gonna get me to like play my like Coachella or a festival or this and that. Because I was pretty involved with like the EDM scene at that time too, but I dropped it all to join like with my rapper friends, and I was like playing at the Yoast, and I was doing some pretty cool shit. My roommate, who's like a sick ass manager right now in the EDM game, he manages like Nick Hogan. I don't know, Nick Hogan's Hulk Hogan's son.
Oh, what?
Yeah. He's like actually cool. He's a good friend. I met him through him. He manages him. He manages just a bunch of dope DJs in the EDM scene. But I was his first artist, so he kind of helped me propel myself into that thing. But because I wasn't producing at the time, like EDM music, I wasn't able to really get into certain avenues that I wanted to. But then the hip hop shit came, so then I had to just. I kind of rolled along with that, and I kind of was like, this is gonna get me somewhere, like this is gonna. But for me, that era was more so like music boot camp. Like I got to do some really dope shit. I wasn't making a lot of money off of that, but I got to do some dope shit. So then,
you were when you were in tour, you were making beats for them, and then you were like the DJ that was when they would do shows, you were playing all the songs for them.
Yeah, on the mic, like that. That's the thing too. Okay. It was like I had never gotten on the mic like that, so. I became a part of the show, and they gave me the freedom to put together their sets. Like they basically were like, okay, disco, like how should we do this? And I think they kind of like saw, and at that time I was super into EDM still. So they kind of were like, let my high energy of my EDM shit kind of pour into their shows. And they always tell me like that some of their music taste changed because they were super like underground hip hop, like, so me being this different type of DJ, not a hip hop DJ, but like this different type of DJ, like we both inspired each other, and like kind of I helped build their sets and what kind of they propelled into, because Curtis and Noah are fucking legends, they're IE legends. Like Curtis makes his living off YouTube now too, Noah is a fucking the pillar of the IE, like literally the godfather of the IE. Along with all my other friends that were part of the label back then. They're amazing artists. But I lost my train of thought.
You were helping them with the
music. Like with the music, and it was just kind of became a thing. But then there became a point where I was like, you want to make a living off this. And because I was working at schools at the same time, it's like, I can't make a living off this being kind of like behind the scenes kind of, so that's why I sacrificed like, all right, like I think my time here, I've done enough, it's like, okay, now you need to be reborn. So that's when I moved out here in 2017. I was still commuting for work in San Bernardino. But really like kind of like what really kind of kick-started everything was COVID. After COVID, my grandma passed, and we all like the company fired everybody from the school program that I was a part of, and it was like sink or swim for me. So I was like, can I really fucking survive off this DJ and shit? Like, and I'm like, I think this is the time to try it. Like, what? Like,
you got nothing else to lose.
I have nothing else to lose. I lost my.
Let's do it.
And if it doesn't work, I could go back to working with schools. So yeah, bro, fucking. I started making more content. I got my residency at like Agua Caliente, and just bunch of gigs, and it's been like kind of like nonstop. And I feel like that's kind of what like slowly maneuvered into like getting the attention of like Coachella and all that stuff. But
And what was like the hardest thing when you moved out here? Do you already knew people from this area?
I
Like,
did.
How was it? Because like
I did.
just you saying, "Oh, I just moved out here and then try to be a DJ," but like that sounds hard.
Absolutely.
Moving to a new place, like
Absolutely.
how do you even process
So I think the advantage that I had was because I was from out here. So a lot of my friends, David was, and I always will credit David for this. Like David was probably one of the biggest forces behind me to kind of push me and light that, literally that fire under my ass. Like to like be like, he told me, because we were old friends from high school, and I've known David since like 4th grade. But in high school, we were cool, but we kind of bumped heads, because if you would have known David in high school, David was not a bully, but he was a fucking he was a little bully. So he'd be like, we played on a soccer team. He'd just randomly, we'd be on the bus and be like, Rene. I'd be like, what, bro? We'd be like, stop being fucking fail. Like, like shit like that, where he would fuck around with me and I would just be like, man, fool, like, leave me alone, bro. Like, but as we became friends, me coming out here now, I understood that that all came from a good place. Like, it was like when, like, when you fuck with somebody and it's just like, sometimes like that's your way of showing affection, like, it's because I fucking love you, fool. So David obviously had softened up a lot more as an adult. So I just was able to like see David for who he really was, and not like, back in the day, we were just kids. So, you get butthurt over every fucking thing. So, and I mean, I always fucked with David. Like, me and David never had any issues, but seeing him and as an adult, like, I saw how genuine he was. And because he was like, because he used to call me Hollywood back in the day. I would come to practice late. I was varsity since freshman year. I'd come with my glasses on, and I guess the coach would be like, look at this fucking Hollywood motherfucker. So then after that, they'd be like, Hollywood, because I was just
Capping.
Pretty boy, yeah, capping, So he was like, honestly, bro, I thought you would never like reach out to me and like be my friend because of all the stuff that you were doing. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Why? I'm like, I'm not no fucking like famous star. Like, he's like, no, but because just of the shit you're doing, I just thought you just would never like want to talk to me and be my homie. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? We've known each other since forever, And he was like, we just started clicking more, bro. Started hanging out a little more. And then he was like, look, I'll give you my services for free for 1 year. I'll make your logo. Because I was like, before that, I was like, make my logo, bro. Like, I knew he went to school for that. And he was like, I'll give you my services for 1 year. And I'll make content for you. Like, I'll try to like help, I was like, all right, like, what do I got to lose? Like,
yeah,
my homie, like, he wants to help me. But I was probably one of the best decisions ever, because we just opened up. Like, over the time, we just really opened up about our goals and what we really wanted. And he would just be like, like, what are you doing right now? Like, why are you not making content? Why are you not making a mix? And I tell David, even to this day, like, he just is in my mind every day. Like, if I'm not doing shit, like 1 month, I'm like, David's probably fucking like, este güey que está haciendo, like,
yeah,
and I think you need friends like that, like friends that are not gonna
keep you accountable.
Yeah, keep you fucking accountable. And that's why David, for always, will be one of my best friends in life, And, my mom even says, like, who would have known that you and David would have been like so cool and so close, and David and Monica, both his wife, have been there for me in some of my darkest moments, like outside of music, So it's that kind of friendship is priceless, So David has been one of those forces behind me to kind of help me blossom to the disco that I am today, because he just was like, bro, content. He would make content for me, So yeah, man, David. Shout out to fucking David.
And that was during the pandemic, like during that time. So when you were starting making content, is that how do you see like a correlation between, well, one's making the logo, like branding, because
yes,
a logo means like, oh shit, you're branding yourself as disco, and then that content led you to getting booked for other gigs, or do you see a correlation there?
Oh, bro, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I tell them all the time. I'm like, I give you roses because without all that stuff, I feel like I wouldn't have blossomed into because I always say like you're my manager without being my manager, bro. Like and I always tell him like if some big shit ever happened, you'd be like behind me, because I took him to NAM one year, and that was a really good. I took I got him passes, but me, him, and Monica went, and it was cool because he got to see my world. Like NAM is like this big music convention in Anaheim where they drop the newest instruments, all this like software, all this stuff for like musicians. And he got to see like my world and like not only see the new gear that would be coming out, but also like the actual DJs, like turntablists, all the dopest DJs from here to here go, so he got to see that. And with that, he kind of took that and was like, I want you to be like these fools. And I would be like, bro, there's no fucking way I could be like these fools. Like, these fools are fucking world champions. And he was like, but yeah, you can't. Like, why not? And David's always been like the why not kind of guy, So it's just that, and just it kept going. So yeah, man. And then the podcast and stuff too.
Yeah, I was gonna get into the selected series. That was the first time I really met you and David actually through the selected series. I think you guys invited me when we did it at the Flat Black.
Yeah.
And then we did an episode.
Yeah.
We did an episode at the Flat Black. That was during, I think, right after Coachella 2019. I remember that because either right or before or after.
I think it was before.
Before Coachella 2019.
I think it was.
Yeah, you guys invited me over. I got to meet you guys, and from there, then I invited you guys on my podcast. So that was the first interactions I ever had with you guys, a little pre-pandemic. So how did the selected series come about? Who had the idea? How do you guys
decide? The selected series was it was like a clothing company, I believe, that our buddy Ricky and Luis were trying to start up. And I don't know how it happened. I guess Ricky didn't really have too much time to like be involved so much. So he kind of let David and Luis try it. And it was after like a soccer game or something. I was going through like this huge heartbreak at that time. And I was just really sad. And I just needed any little thing to kind of like get my mind off of it. So I told them I knew they were going to like set up the stuff to do it. I was like, bro, I'm good with audio. I could come and like try to see like, like how to help you guys set it up. They was like, all right, man, like come through. So we went to Luis's house and we kind of set some of the things up, and then I don't know if I guess we could say it. David was borrowing stuff from like one of the schools that like his parents worked at. So like he literally like a soundboard, like microphones, everything. So we ended up doing kind of like a pilot episode with me. Like the first episode of Selected Series was me. That was supposed to be like a pilot, like kind of like let's see how we'll sound and all that. And after that, like the guys were like, why don't we just fucking do it all together, And I was like, well, I could be you guys' like audio engineer, like as best as I can, So then that started. I would edit the audio clips, cut shit out, and then send it to David, and then they would sync it up and do all that stuff. And but yeah, bro, that's how Selected Series started. And after that, it was just like what we did, like those year and a half, 2 years that we like were going ham. And
you guys took a break during COVID, no?
Yes.
COVID kind of slowed everything down. Have you guys had conversations about bringing it back, or is that something that you guys? Is that something you want to do?
I mean, definitely. I think obviously David and Luis are both like super dad mode right now, So I think it's hard to kind of get us all in the same room. I think eventually we will, but I think that's where Seed Planner stemmed from. It stemmed from David's eagerness and his like work ethic of like, I can't stay still, bro. So he was just like, I want to do Seed Planner kind of as like a branch off.
Seed Planner podcast for those. Check it out. Yeah, David, he's damn, like every time I speak to him, like you said, like I don't know him, like you said, you don't know your life, but like just he's just motivating, bro. And then the way he speaks and he really believes in getting the most out of the other person.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. And there's
Planting seeds, this motherfucker.
literally planting seeds, bro. Like that's where it came. It came out of a conversation we had with somebody at the Flat Black thing, and I was like, we were having a conversation, and then he was talking about how like he was wanted. David is, he'll talk to somebody, and if somebody has like a business or an idea or something, he'll be like telling them of ways of how they can maybe do it, even if he has a clue about it or not. He's like, you could do this because this and that. Maybe we should do this. So I was like, bro, you're like you plant seeds in people's head, and he was like, seed planter, seed. So that's kind of where that kind of stemmed up. I'm not gonna take credit for the name, but we did have that conversation, and we're like, I told him, like, you're a fucking seed planter, like, and David's mind is, I always say this, it's like his foot is like literally on the gas pedal going 100, but like with the fucking wood stick, like just on there, like locked.
Full
like,
throttle.
All
full
gas,
throttle.
no brakes.
All gas, no brakes. So I get that's why he had to do the Seed Planner podcast for his own mental. And that's what he told me. And we had conversations about it. And he was like, well, whenever you can, like you could jump on it as a guest host, or if not, like, I was like, bro, just do it. Like, I think there was kind of like a hesitation at first. Like, he wanted to do it, but he didn't want to hurt our feelings, kind of, in a way. But I was like, bro, fucking do that shit. What the fuck? So he did it, bro. And he's gotten really good content out of that, too. And I'm proud of him, man. David has so much, like, potential to just become this fucking pillar out here as well, bro. Like, I feel like he's done a lot. And I feel like he's such a behind the scenes kind of guy too. Like, he doesn't realize that sometimes. I'm like, maybe it's all of our imposter syndrome, but I feel like David has planted so many seeds in so many people's mind, and them not even realizing that, because he doesn't like taking credit for shit too. Like,
yeah, he's
just
very
like,
humble,
bro.
How do you feel about like the imposter syndrome? How do you get over it? Like, how do you?
Bro.
Does it still happen to you? Do you just like
all the time, bro? I got imposter syndrome. I got imposter syndrome during the hip hop era because I was like, I don't fucking belong here. Like, this like fucking Latino kid with all these like dope ass rappers. Like, what do I gotta provide? I think it's really common for artists to get it, but for me especially, like, because of my mind works in this way of like, yeah, it's dope that I've done this shit, but there's so much more to do. Like, what? Like now that I've done Coachella, it's like, okay, well, what's next? And I guess that gives me kind of like imposter syndrome. I was like, did I deserve that? Like, did I deserve to be that? But yeah, fuck yeah, bro. I've been working for fucking 15 years, to get to that moment. So I don't think you ever get over it, but I think you have to just slow yourself down and realize, like, look at what you've done, whether you're a DJ or artist, whatever it is, gotta like slow down and look at everything and see what you've done,
Well, let's go back to the Coachella performance because I didn't get to ask you. So when you were like about to play that, was it like 1:30 at the Mojave tent? You're like, fuck, I'm about to go up. Like, how did it feel like in that moment, like right before you walked up to the deck, and then you saw your family, you saw friends, you saw like, can you take us back to that moment?
So right before I got on stage, I didn't even have my like artist wristband. So shout out to the campground people. She literally drove me backstage because you know how it is, bro. You can't get in that shit unless you got. So I didn't have a wristband, and obviously I'm not like this like world famous DJ. So every checkpoint it was like, wait, kind of like, okay, you're good. So it was like, you're good. So that I was prepared for the DJ set, like music wise and mentally, but I think that kind of got me nervous because I'm like, fuck, like, what if they don't let me in for my DJ set? Like. So then once I finally got back there, and when I got back there, they didn't have the proper equipment that I was supposed to use to hook up my laptop. So I was like, fuck, like, but good thing I got there super early. I've always been a very punctual person, so I think like that helped me make sure that everything was okay. So got there, didn't have the proper shit. They ended up finding the proper stuff. And mind you, the people at the Gobi tent were so dope. All the dudes there were super cool and super helpful. But But for me, bro, I mean, you were there. I smiled the whole fucking time, bro, because like I get goosebumps thinking about it because it's like that was the moment. I wanted to stay in that moment forever, bro. Like that was like this is fucking it. Like this is what I've been fucking waiting for. So I wasn't nervous. I was not. I was so calm, so collective. My homegirl Steph, who's like a cousin to me, gave me a water bottle full of aguardiente, which is like this Colombian like liquor that tastes amazing. And I was just sipping on that. Had a couple of sips of that right before, and I was like, all right, let's get this shit. And then seeing you guys come in, seeing my family there, seeing like random people just flow in was it was just like a beautiful moment for me, bro. I didn't need to have. I think I told you this earlier. Like it was maybe 50 of you guys there, you know, really at the front. But that shit felt like 1,000 people because you guys were the energy you guys had that everybody had there. Like it felt like 1,000 people. And going back, the day before, I didn't know what I was gonna play. I was like, I'm gonna play like a slow music, like what? And DJ Gabriel, who is the DJ who's DJed at Coachella the most. He's like the resident DJ there. Older guy. He's maybe like in his 40s now. We had a conversation. He went to come check out my set at the Silent Disco. I've known him from the IE days. Same thing. Like I know a lot of the DJs that are like constantly at Coachella through those days, and you know, was always working in the hip hop scene. I asked him. I said after my set at the Silent Disco, I was like, bro, what should I play? And he was like, play whatever the fuck you want. Play what people know you for. Play what like you feel well, like are gonna feel comfortable with. And I was like, damn, that's the realest shit. And I was like, I love house music. Right now I'm like super into like reggaeton and like Latin shit. So, and I love classic house stuff. So that's where like the set came out, like kind of formed. And I was really into like this genre called Amapiano, which is like this genre from like South Africa that's like house, but it's Afro beats as well. So that's why I started the set off with that because it was kind of slow and it kind of gave me time to build it up. And then I got into, you know, all like the house stuff and then the Latin tech house shit, which was like my favorite because like I felt like that was the moment. That was like the peak of it when everybody was just fucking jamming and relatable, you know, like all the reggaeton hits, but like house, like, and then I ended it with like all the classic house, like Show Me Love and all those, but there were remixes, there were newer remixes. So I just felt like I showcase myself and my likes and my interests of music in my own way, like in the most fresh, cool way that honestly I feel like that was one of my best sets of my life. Like not because it was Coachella, but because it was that moment of like I know what I'm coming for, and if this is like the last time I'm gonna like play something like this, like I'm gonna make sure it's fucking like worth it, and everybody remembers like this shit, and you know, so yeah, bro.
If you had to go back to the moment, would you change anything? How would you make things better? Is there something that you fucked up on? Well, not just like the performance. I guess just the whole weekend, like from Silent Disco, because you played Silent Disco twice. You played on Thursday and you played on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So you got to play 3 times at the festival.
Bro.
What would you do different if you had to go back and redo it again? Like if they invite you next year, you're like, oh shit, next year my set's gonna be more fire. It's gonna do this.
Right.
It's gonna be, what would you do different?
So the only thing I really fucked up on was I recorded that shit and then like right after, like because of my adrenaline, I just closed my laptop. It's like fuck. But I was able to save the set, so it was fine. But I think the only thing that I feel like I fucked up on was not being able to record like my actual voice when I was like talking to the crowd. Like I think because the mic, you know, obviously would have picked up some of like the interactions and stuff. I think that's the only thing that I fucking regret. Like, fuck, I wish there was a way to have recorded like myself, like my actual voice talking to the crowd and the interactions. And also like I mean, it was not really a fuck up because it was last minute and you had to like wait like 2 weeks to get somebody to go and actually record the set. Like, you got content, which I'm so thankful that you did that, bro, because I wasn't able to get like any real content from Coachella, you know, because being that I was so early, it wasn't recorded on like the live stream. So I think that's the only thing that is regretful. Not that I regret, but that is regretful that I'm like, fuck, I wish there could have been more of like more like just content, like somebody record,
following you the
videographer,
whole
all that.
weekend. Yeah.
And then kind of going back into the campground stuff, nothing that I regret from there. Honestly, I loved the actual moment that I played Coachella, but I had the most fun at the campground because everybody's on one, like
It's
late at
different
night. It's not
After
hot,
hours.
bro. It was fun because so when you play, there's 2 DJs, right? There's either purple channel or green channel. Both nights that I fucking that I played, there was a delay with my laptop. So I had to like restart my laptop. So the other DJ already started playing. So you would see a bunch of like green headphones. And I'm like, the first night, it was like a bunch of green headphones. And I'm like, fuck. And I was like, what channel am I on? Purple channel, right? And I already coming into the weekend knew like, okay, there's a bunch of Bad Bunny fans. They like house. I'm going to just play my Latin tech house shit. Like, and seeing the crowd go from, no offense to the other DJ, all love, but seeing the crowd go from green to all purple, I was like, holy fuck. Like, I loved it, bro. I loved it. And I was just kind of like, that was kind of one of the moments where the imposter syndrome went out the fucking window. And I was like, I fucking deserve to be here. Like, this is why. Because if I could, because I was before my actual set at Coachella. So that was kind of like my moment of like, all right, bro, like, you're a good DJ. Like, like and it was cool to see the reactions. And after, like, people come up to me and be like, bro, you fucking killed that shit. I still get messages like now. Like, it wasn't crazy, bro. Like, oh my God. Like, but I still get love from like, oh, bro, like I was at the silent disco and you fucking murder that shit. And so many people got upset because I didn't record any of the sets, which that's one thing I do regret. Not recording the sets at the silent disco. But bro, both of those nights were fucking so dope, dude. Yeah. Silent disco is really where the fucking party's at, you know? Like,
silent disco is a whole different type of game, bro.
Yeah.
The next thing is like, okay, once you play Coachella, like you were saying, what's next? Like, did other people, other venues, other festivals approach you because you were on the Coachella lineup? Did you get emails? Like, how does that work? I'm just curious. Like,
so
how do people?
So thankfully I've gotten a lot of love and like wanting to get booked. Because of that. No festivals have hit me up yet, but I mean, I hope with time.
Have you reached out to other festivals?
I don't like. I feel like
for me, like you gotta use that as leverage.
Yeah,
like,
you think so,
bro? That's you. That's the.
I think it's my imposter syndrome, bro. It really is.
It's David, bro. Like, this man
David,
up, bro.
call this motherfucker.
Right. I know, bro.
Call him right now.
And that's what like. You're right.
Because not everybody has that in their resume, bro.
Because like,
you're right.
Let's say, yeah, like what the fuck? Like that's it's the most iconic festival in the world, bro. Yes, there's bigger festivals, maybe more people. Yeah, there's maybe like EDM festivals,
right.
But Coachella, like culturally, like worldwide, it's the most important festival. So now if you send out, let's say, 20 emails a week to the top festivals, even smaller festivals,
right.
Whatever, this music being played everywhere, clubs in LA, clubs in Orange
right.
County, clubs in whatever, Mexico. If you send 20 emails every day and then in your resume, oh, I played Coachella this year, boom, boom, boom. I feel like you get booked so much, bro.
I want to start fucking doing that.
Bro, like that, you gotta fucking milk the fuck out of that.
And I think
shit,
too, though, a big thing is like, because I don't have an actual manager is why it's so hard for me to realize like, I think that's why imposter syndrome hits me, because it's like I'm so busy with my just regular weekly gigs out here that I don't have the time to be like, or I haven't had the time to be like, okay, like let's set something up for a bigger platform. And it's conversations like this that I need to have though on some real shit, because I don't have a team behind me to be like, oh, dude, you need to do this, you do that. David is one person, you know. I'm one person, and he's been so busy being a dad. But like, don't get me wrong, like we have conversations all the time, like, okay, like what's next, you know? And damn, I'm gonna start doing that shit. And I don't like being that dude either, being like, I played Coachella, so you should book me, you know. But like,
no, but not saying that in a
yeah,
non
I know what you. I know.
no, just like part of your resume, like, oh yeah, I'm looking. If you here's my resume, because there's
Right.
people always looking for talent.
Right.
I mean, I'm starting to throw shows. Like I'm not really that experienced, but like even right now, I'm looking for shows. I'm looking for artists, and
Right.
you know, I'm looking their social media to see like I go into an artist page or like they'll DM me like, oh, could I play at your show? And then I'm like, go on their social media and then just seeing like, oh, have they had live performances? Then I check their videos or their songs, and it sucks. Like sometimes these artists don't even have their music on their page, bro. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't know what you sound like. You're making me go through your link. Then from your link, I have to select one of the platforms to even try to listen to your song when you should have it pinned.
Right.
And you do have your stuff pinned. I see
Yeah.
your stuff.
Yeah.
So like, for me as a small promoter coming up, like I'm looking at that as artists, but like some of the artists that I've been booking for shows, they reach out to me.
Right.
They put themselves in the radar. How we were speaking before, like sometimes you just keep hitting me up, and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a show. Let me see who's available, and I go back through my messages and see who has messaged me.
Right.
I'm looking at what artists to hit up, and then I'm pretty sure the promoters are the same way, bro. We're all fucking lost in the social media game. There's 1,000 notifications every day. There's millions of billboards and Netflix and too many distractions. So if you're just hitting people up with fucking Coachella on your resume, bro, like I feel like you'll be able to play a lot of cool spots.
Yeah, man. I think I need to do that.
Europe, hit some European fucking European tour, dog.
Fuck, man. I do want to tour again, like a DJ tour, like just hit different spots. Well, I mean, actually, kind of going into that, now that I've been messing with Gasolina party, the reggaeton party, me and Jay Patron have been working together a lot. Not so much as a duo, but yeah, as like a duel. Like anytime we DJ together, we've set the standard here at Reforma in Palm Springs. How we are together, like every night that him and I DJ together, it's fucking amazing. So we got the attention of the owner of Gasolina. And I don't know if you saw, but like we played like Oklahoma, we played
you guys.
San Diego, but we had a conversation recently where he's like, I'm going to start like touring you guys, you know, for Gasolina, which is fucking crazy. But I think that's kind of, see, bro, I forget what I do sometimes, bro. Like it's crazy. It really do. And I forget like things that are coming up for me sometimes just because I'm so caught up in everything that I'm like, oh yeah, I am going to start fucking touring with Gasolina. So they're going to, you know, I know they're going to send us to different cities now, but me and Patron together.
Are you recording some of these trips that you're going
no, bro.
That's
another thing.
You're saying you're not able to create content, but that's content, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, we're on our way to Oklahoma right now. We're gonna go play at some club, and you record yourself when you get to the club. Maybe you can't record because you're DJing,
right?
But record the experience of getting in the plane. Record shit. You're gonna be on your phone, fucking watching.
Yeah. Anyways, and we kind of slowly are doing that, but I feel like, yeah, you're right. I need to be more on top of it, and I think now that it's gonna start happening more often. Like I said, I need conversations like this to kind of like plant those seeds in my head, bro, because I get so lost in the sauce sometimes that I forget, bro. But yeah, that's gonna start happening soon. So I really hope that I'm terrified of flying, by the way.
Oh, really?
Like, bro, so that trip to Oklahoma, I was fucking dying inside. But Patron was like fucking knocked out for both of the flights, bro. He was out cold. And I'm in there like, fuck, I'm gonna die on this fucking plane. Like, at least it's gonna be because I'm doing my dream. Like, I'm excited for that. I'm just kind of like, I've always been kind of like, when it's here is when I'll soak it in. You know what I mean? I need to start anticipating more things, you know. I think and I hope like people that are like starting up, like, see, like, even people like me who've done a lot of shit, like, it's okay to feel like you don't belong in certain places sometimes. that you could still, like, it's okay to feel like that, but just keep fucking grinding because you're gonna keep doing shit and you're eventually gonna do more dope shit, you know.
And you try to figure it out as you
Yeah,
go too.
and you try.
Sometimes
And
people think you have it figured out.
oh, bro.
So like when I've been getting older, I realized too is like our parents didn't know what the fuck they were doing this
bro,
whole time.
I was about to say that, bro. Like,
we're little kids. You're like, oh yeah, our parents, they go to work, they do this thing, and then you're getting older. You're like, what the fuck? What the,
they had no idea what they were doing.
Feel more, yeah. And now you're like, oh shit. Like now you feel more. Maybe like, damn, like my parents sacrificed a lot for me to do this, give me a better. Yeah, it's weird. Life is just happens, bro. Like you just have to. You learn from every mistake. You try to get better. Try not to make the same mistakes. And we're humans, we're not perfect.
We're apes.
We're fucking apes, dog.
We're apes. No, but I think I'm very like I don't hide my emotions, so I feel like when you talk to me, like, and we have this one-on-one. That's why like we're having this conversation. I'm sharing my insecurities of like what it is being an artist and a DJ and this and that. Like, I think too many people try to hide that. And try to just
be cool, like,
be too cool for school,
problems,
bro. Yeah. Exactly. And don't get me wrong, bro. Like, there's moments like where I'm like, this is dope because I'm really living off of this shit. But then there's moments where I'm like, fuck, like, do I need to fucking work like 2 more jobs? But then it's normal, bro. A lot of us that are in this grind, like, have not only our music shit, but we have multiple grinds, you know what I mean? And I think people need to kind of realize that this shit is all like smoke and mirrors sometimes, bro. Like, and it's okay though to show that your real side. I feel like showing your insecurities of like, this shit is hard. I don't think enough people show that. And I think that's why there's just this like ongoing trend of like, you got to be too cool for fucking school. And I fucking hate that shit, And that goes also with like people that have been in the game, like OGs, not messing with like the younger crowd and all this stuff. Because like out here in the desert, that's how it is, man. Before, a lot of the older club DJs wouldn't really fuck with the younger guys, They were just like, if you weren't like a turntablist club DJ, like they wouldn't really fuck with you. So I feel like they need more people like me who are open-minded to be like, look, this is how you kind of sharing knowledge and like giving opportunities. What you're doing, like you're doing these shows. You how long has it been since you started doing these shows?
It's about to be a year, not even
a year. And look at these dope ass shows you've been fucking doing. Who's doing shows like really? Who's doing shows like this out here that is showcasing local talent, bro? And I could think of Omar from my Omar who does 7-6. He does like hip hop shows and stuff like that and DJ shows, but besides you, him, I can't really think of too many people besides back in the day that are actually right now our generation who's really putting on like shows and showcasing local talent like that. Nobody, bro. So we need more people like us to give those opportunities. That's why I started doing this shit at the museum, and I told them like it was supposed to just be me, but I was like, let me bring in like top notch DJs, the younger guys, like, and I think that's why I got really cool with the younger generation of DJs out here because I was like, you guys want? I didn't know them, but I was like, I thought they were cool. So you guys want to play it? We need more of that instead of this like old head mentality of like, you can't have what's mine because you're going to be better than me and you're going to overshine me. I don't give a bro. There's always going to be somebody better than you at every fucking thing, So I think we just need more of the being able to work with each other kind of thing and like showing and sharing knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
we have to work together and sharing knowledge. That's huge because everybody holds it in. And I realize the world is so big, bro. Like even going back to like, let's say Coachella. Like I bet there was an artist there that we don't even know who the fuck they were. You're like, I don't know who that artist was, but they might have like, in their countries, like they have like 100 million followers and they're like the biggest thing. Like they can't even walk outside. So I was watching, Carlos Vela. So he plays soccer for LAFC.
Yeah.
So he said he chose to play soccer here over playing in Mexico for Chivas or America, whatever, because he said he wanted to have a more comfortable lifestyle here where like he could walk on the streets and maybe not everybody recognizes him. But in Mexico, he's walking on the streets. Oh, it's Carlos Vela, and then you get pictures and this and that. Like you can't have that quiet life. And this Coachella, you had like Indian artist Diljit. I don't know how many million of followers. Like
wild,
but nobody really knows him here. Or the world is so big where we feel like if we share our resources, people are gonna overlap us, or we're gonna be able to do this. But it's like no, like if we share resources, there's 7 or 8 billion. It's almost 8 billion people now in the world that could be consuming your piece of content,
right.
And then you create something. If I help you, let's say I'm a rapper and I help you with my resources. We have different audiences.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna help you become the best version of yourself, and that's gonna take you on this path. And I'm gonna be doing my own style of music that's on a different branch of this tree, but we're both, going our own path and trying to get, further or spread our seeds to different sections. And I've been doing that just with the shows. It's like, that's why I like to have multi-genre shows, because it would be so easy. Like I tell you straight up, if I just do Mexican music, I have 1,000 people at every show. Not even zero promotion.
Absolutely.
If I just have Mexican artists, it's so easy. This is the demographic that's popular here in the Valley. But it's like, I also like hip hop too, and I talk to the hip hop artists, and that's the hardest genre. Hip hop in the desert, people don't support hip hop. It's such a hard. I don't know what it is. It's here. It's just negative stigma, because a lot of the hip hop that comes from the Valley, it's people think gangster shit, because there are a lot of fools that just make videos with guns and shit. That's one. But I also love DJs, so I like to throw some DJs, some bands. Rock bands are fun too. I love rock bands. Like we have so much talent here. And that's the reason I do multi-genre, so that way people are seeing like, oh shit, there's all these different venues, and let's create a show that's like sick, One, the artists get to perform on a good stage with like good lighting, and the crowd that's there, they're getting to see a show that's like, oh shit, it's multi-genre. You don't know what's coming next. What artist is going to come next? You don't know the sounds, and maybe they won't fuck with the artist. Maybe they'll become fans or follow the artist, but like, I hope they have a good experience live. That's kind of like the vision behind it, and just to elevate the music scene. And then hopefully that encourages more people to do more shows, because there's not enough people doing shows. And the only way to do that is by creating content.
Exactly.
So we create a lot of content behind the shows, so that way the artists can promote themselves, but also other people could be like, oh shit, there's so much artists out here. And I've had people reach out like, hey, do you know I've gotten so many like, hey, could you recommend a Mexican group, because we're trying to have a party. I don't know any groups here. And I send them like 3 or 4 of the people that I work with. Hey, do you know any DJs? Boom. Do you know any food vendors? Like, there's just a lack of knowledge in the desert, because people don't create enough. So I'm doing my small part, trying to like just spread the resources to everybody. So I think we need more people to do that too, because there's just so much talent, bro.
Bro, there is, man. There's a bunch of talent out here, and I feel like it's finally like our generation is the one we're like the shared knowledge generation. I feel like the generations that came before us were very like with that. And I feel like after us is when it's really going to blossom. I feel like it's blossoming now, but I mean, I think it needs to be multiple generations of what we're doing to really, it's like outside of festival season, like people don't like going and supporting like local artists or local DJs. And it's like, why not? There's so much dope talent here. Like, why do you guys got to go to LA for a show? Why do you guys got to go to San Diego for a show when we have something right here where it's dope and it's this and it's that, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and to also get the attention of Coachella, like, like what if one of your shows, somebody gets the content that you gave me for the show that I did at one of your shows, I used it on the news, and I feel like that all that kind of propelled me into like getting the attention to play the actual stage at Coachella. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have any content of me playing on stage at all, bro. And I was like, fuck. And I had that one clip that you had sent me. So it's just like, I feel like what you're doing is gonna keep like this shit going of like getting more people's attention. How you say, people throwing more shows, or just putting people in the right position, bro. Like, So
Yeah, just awareness.
you
It's
keep
awareness.
doing that, man.
Creating awareness. Now,
Giving
thank you,
your
bro.
flowers, bro.
So, what about making original music? Like, do you have that in mind? Like EPs, albums, working with artists, with
Yes.
vocals? Like, do you have plans for that?
So I used to make beats when I worked with the hip hop guys for a minute, but right now I'm on this like house music kick where I really want to produce house music, and there's this really dope generation of house music DJs out here that are fucking amazing. Axel, Zork, um, I think his name is Alexis. There's just dope ass producer DJs, house music DJs, um, that are like kind of fucking blowing up, bro. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before they get they are already getting the attention from LA. Um, but my main thing right now is like, I want to soak up some of the game from them, because I don't necessarily know how to make like dance music, produce it per se. Like I know how to make a beat, but like to make something dope, like complete, I don't know. So right now I'm on this tip where I'm like trying to just study that and eventually make like an EP. Um, but it's mostly like working with these guys and seeing like what I could do with them, you know. And house music is so under like rated of how not hard it is, but like
It's so
to
layered.
make,
It's really layered.
bro.
Yeah.
It's so layered.
So I saw, you know, Quivero?
Yeah, motherfucker's so good, bro.
Yeah, Quivero's a beast, bro.
Bro, I've told him too, man. I've told
And that's what
him,
makes his own songs,
bro.
already. Like I went to his house. He showed me. He's like, "Hey, bro." He's like, "Hey, you want to see the song I'm working on?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'll go." I went over. This had like a layer of like
74 layers
74 fucking little. Oh, this is just. I was like, "Oh my
bro.
god."
I've told him too. Like I've told him this a long time ago too. I feel like he's one of the best producers out here, and it's only a matter of time before he gets somebody's like attention like that he's gonna blow up, bro. Like him, there's this guy named Burn that's really, really good. Like there's so many really good producers out here. It's just because it's the desert. We don't have like the resources how like LA does, you know. And I think with time we'll be able to, you know, like, oh, do you know that dope DJ from Palm Springs or Coachella or, you know, whatever it is. But yeah, bro, house music is so fucking layered and hard to make. But that's something that I love and I genuinely want to get into. So with time, I feel like I'll get into it. But for right now, I'm gonna just give the flowers to like these young cats that are making that music out here, because they're fucking good. There's a dope demographic of DJs that are DJ producers that I feel like with time they're gonna get the attention of like LA.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just a matter of time. There's more venues opening up right now.
Right.
In downtown Indio, there's the Little Street Music Hall with Avenida Music. They're building this music hall where they're gonna have, I think every day, or if not like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like, you know, like the days.
Really?
They're gonna have shows for all styles of music indoors. Then the city of Indio is also building an outdoor amphitheater, and this outdoor amphitheater is gonna have live performances on the weekends.
Really?
And that's just in downtown. They're building. Well, Gabino's is moving there.
Right.
Then there's Everbloom Coffee's moving there. Like food. There's a brewery opening there. A winery opening there.
Damn.
So it's they're trying to make it in, because right now downtown Indio's dead. So they're trying to make it into like a gas lamp district, something that just people are go in there. They live music. Then you go to a bar, hang out, and it's a city of festivals, you know.
Yeah.
Indio that's their nickname, the city of festivals, and they're trying to become a national recognized music city. So that's coming, you know.
That's sick.
So
I
we
didn't
have
know that.
a little bit of a scene in Palm Springs. You know, there's
Right.
casinos, there's clubs, bars, there's
Right.
420 Bank.
Right.
We'll talk about that right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing shows here in my house, but like it's so difficult here because I have to literally from scratch bring a whole stage, and it costs a lot of money. And oh my god, I haven't made shit. I've been investing money, like I haven't made no money from.
That's crazy.
I've done 7 shows, and I've definitely invested thousands. But I've been building because I know it's working, and people are having a good time, and we're able to, like you said, bring exposure to artists. So for me as a promoter, having more venues to do more shows, I could give more opportunity to artists, because I can't have on the last show we had, I had like 19 artists perform.
Yeah.
19 local artists, or a couple others from another city or whatever. But there's 50 other artists I couldn't have on that show that want to perform, and I can't have a show every week because it's so much money. And I wish I could just go to a club, and that's what we're working on now. So the first show that we're doing, it's at the 420 Bank in July 22nd. If you listen to it, and sitting across from my headliner, DXSKO. So you heard it here first.
Let's go! I'm excited for that, man.
On the topic of music, one final question.
Yeah.
For people that are starting to get into music, people that want to be DJs, what is some advice and some common misconceptions about, making a living with music?
Just to keep, like, my whole saying, like the whole keep going shit. Just to keep going, keep doing it. There's gonna be more bad moments than good moments, as far as like when it comes to like money shit and all that stuff. Like when it comes to music shit, man, like I don't know if I should say this, but it took me like 2.5 months to get paid from Coachella. So like money will be there and it'll come and go. But if you really want this shit, it really isn't about the money shit. And I think like that's something that like the money shit will come. But I think if you really want this shit, like keep your eye on the fucking prize, keep going. The money will come. Just stay consistent with that. That's basically like what I would tell my younger self and anybody who's starting, like, because the people that have been doing it will recognize, like, if you're a new coming DJ, like, I'm going to recognize if you're doing this shit for clout, like, or if you're doing it just to make, like, some quick money, or if you really love this shit. You know what I mean? I got homies, Axel, the homie Fam Bam. Like, Fam Bam works with, like, in the medical field. Axel's a realtor. And I've told both of them, I was like, the reason why I really fuck with you guys is because you guys don't need to do this shit, but you guys want this shit. And that's the difference. You know, it's like, do you really want this shit, or are you just doing it like for right now because it's cool? You know? So that's my advice. Is what I would tell them. Just keep your fucking eye on the prize. The money will come. Trust me. The money will come. It's just, you got to learn it. And if you have a team behind you, even better, you know, to steer you in the right way. So hopefully I answered that question right.
No, I mean, yeah. Just keep going. Don't give up. Going. It's hard, yeah. Like for us too, like as a creative, like fuck, bro. There's no way. Just like even making videos, it takes so much fucking time. Bruh. The money, like I could have been making a lot more money if I just worked at fucking McDonald's, bro. Like the amount of hours you put into this shit, but it's fun. It's part of the process. Like again, the money's gonna come later.
It will.
I'm just gonna keep showing up, and I think people just gotta keep showing up. And sometimes you go in a different direction. Yeah. You could go fucking hip hop touring, and then 10 years later you're playing Coachella doing a different type of music. You never know where the fuck you're gonna turn up to. I never thought I was gonna be doing music, to be honest. I started fucking doing book reviews and movie reviews on YouTube. Really? Bro. I was going to Coachella.
What, bro? Exactly. Bro. What kind of books did you do?
So at first I started with nonfiction. So I was reading shit. It was like I just wanted to learn about the world. And then after a while, because I was driving a lot, so I would listen to audiobooks, mostly audiobooks.
Gotcha.
Driving like 6 hours. I was commuting to Orange County a lot, and I realized like I was watching YouTube videos to see what book to get next. I'm like, oh, what book should I get next? I'm watching reviews and shit. And for some reason, I don't know. Every time I see somebody doing something, I think, why? Oh, I could do that too. I just like, oh, I should do it too. So then I started reviewing the books I was reading. I just finished this book. It was this and this. Those were my first videos, bro. Really? Then it was book reviews, then movie reviews, movie reactions. And I was going to Coachella all those years. Like I still love the music and the festivals and shit. And not until like 2018, I started kind of making Coachella content. And, you know, I never thought I was going to be doing shows. I never thought I'd be doing even a podcast. Like, I was consuming. I've been watching Joe Rogan since 2011. I was watching the episode like 100, bro. My homie Hamilton put me on that shit. What the fuck? Like, I've been consuming podcasts.
Did YouTube even exist back then? Like, damn.
So, like,
Wow.
But then every time I always have this like I could do it too.
Yeah.
And it's hard though. It's not easy. And sometimes I wish I would have planned things better.
Yeah.
Like sometimes just been just on the fly. Like
Right.
like you were saying, you guys did a pilot episode on the podcast and all that shit. I did my podcast with no microphones. Like I just fucking
Damn.
set up a camera and terrible
Off
audio.
the
And then
phone.
you just gotta keep fucking showing up,
Yeah,
dog. And
bro.
like I don't know where I'll be in 5, 10, 20 years,
Yeah.
you know, but like I'm just gonna keep showing up and just get your brain moving. And there's a lot of dark fucking moments and
Fuck
times you're
yeah,
like,
bro.
fuck, why am I even fucking doing this? Or stresses on the creative side that it doesn't matter. We're fucking apes on this planet. Like, you know, our family's what matters and shit like
Yeah.
this. Then I'm like, okay, just fucking keep going. Show it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fucking do the thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, So you're a creator. Just fucking keep showing up, bro. And,
Yes.
well, thank you for
Bro,
joining
thank you
us
for
today,
having
bro.
me, for real, bro.
Bro, this is fucking.
love,
I've
dog.
been wanting to. We've been trying to do it since Coachella.
For
Actually,
real.
it's been a few months, but they were coming on the. And I want to have you back again.
Hell yeah.
And if you're listening to this, Disco's gonna be playing, headlining at Desert Underground,
Through.
420 Bank, July 22nd.
Come through.
Come through. It's gonna be sick. So
Smoke some weed during my set. Pass me the joint.
I think you.